So, ARK Invest is really taking advantage of the market dip, right? They just ramped up their stakes in both Coinbase and Bitmine amid these big
Yeah,
stock
exactly.
drops.
It's fascinating to see how they're buying in during downturns. What really stands out to you about this move?
Well, firstly, ARK Invest added about 94,678 shares of Coinbase through their various funds, like the ARK Innovation ETF, ARK Next Generation Internet ETF, and ARK FinTech Innovation ETF. They spent roughly $30 million on that purchase, all while Coinbase's stock plummeted by nearly 17%.
And that 16.7% drop really set the stage, didn't it? Coinbase hit an intraday low of around $310.55, which is a huge drop from its 52-week high.
Exactly. It's like they saw a golden opportunity. You know, when the stock is down, it kind of begs the question, is this just a temporary misstep?
Right, right. True, but what about Bitmine? ARK Invest also seems to be angling for more exposure there, doesn't it?
Yeah, they went all in on Bitmine too, spending about $17 million to buy 540,712 shares, as BMNR's stock was tumbling, down more than 8.5% to close around $31.68.
Yep, that's a significant move. So, it sounds like ARK is really using these dips to not only accumulate more shares in Coinbase, but also reinforce their position in Bitmine. Isn't it curious, though, how they had been selling Coinbase shares just days earlier?
Totally, that caught my attention as well. Earlier, on Monday, they offloaded around 18,204 shares of Coinbase, nearly $7 million worth at that point. Then they
Yes,
come right back with a big buy on Friday.
right. It's almost like they're actively managing volatility, selling when the price seems inflated, then snapping up shares when it falls.
Yeah, it's a sort of dynamic strategy, but one could argue that this kind of trading, buying heavily amid a dip and then selling later, might also come with risks if the trend doesn't reverse as expected.
Exactly. I mean, there's always a risk factor, right? For sure. And it's not just about the numbers. The broader market is obviously in a funk. Did you see how Wall Street was sinking that day too? With the Dow losing over 500 points?
Absolutely, the context is key here. The market was reeling from weak jobs data and tariff policy changes. The overall sentiment was down, and bank stocks and industrial giants were all hitting rough patches.
That's a big picture we're looking at. And then you've got Bitmine pivoting into Ether, which is another interesting twist. It seems like Bitmine is transitioning and strengthening its Ethereum position, holding a pretty massive Ether treasury.
Oh, yeah, Bitmine now is known as the largest Ether treasury firm, with a cool 625,000 Ether. That's huge when you consider the overall crypto market fluctuations.
Yeah, that's impressive. So in a way, ARK's moves in both Coinbase and Bitmine are bets on the crypto sector bouncing back. Are they basically banking on a recovery in crypto and related tech?
It does sound like that. They're basically capitalizing on the current undervalued prices. It's like buying the dip with some long term vision.
Surely sounds like a strategic risk. But here's something to consider. Some might critique this as over-reliance on market timing. Isn't it a bit dangerous to buy in massive amounts solely because shares have dropped? What if those drops indicate deeper troubles?
Well, that's a fair point, you know. I mean, ARK Invest, led by Cathie Wood, has always had a strong kind of contrarian approach. They seem to view these dips as a chance to acquire assets at a
Definitely a
discount.
bold bet. And considering that ARK's funds have had different trajectories, isn't it interesting how they mix these aggressive buys with occasional sell-offs? It's like they're continuously recalibrating their positions.
Absolutely. It's like they're playing chess while the market is playing checkers. Take Coinbase. After selling earlier in the week, they swooped back in when the price was sufficiently low.
Yeah, that's a neat analogy. And speaking of strategies, ARK Invest has been a major player not just in the crypto realm, but in technology and innovation overall. Their multiple thematic funds, like Next Generation Internet and FinTech Innovation, really exemplify their forward-thinking approach.
True. And that diversification means that even though the market is volatile, they're not putting all their chips on one number. They've spread it across tech, crypto, and fintech, which gives them a bit of a
Definitely,
cushion.
diversification is key. Do you think ARK's approach will pay off in the long run given today's economic uncertainties and the shift in asset classes we're seeing?
Well, it's tough to predict, but the idea behind these moves is to buy quality assets when the prices dip, an age-old investment philosophy. Of course, there's always risk and market sentiment to consider, especially with crypto involved.
Exactly, risk versus reward, right? One thing though, while many investors are more cautious during downturns, ARK's aggressive accumulation seems like it might spur more volatility in their portfolios if the trend doesn't reverse quickly.
That's a really interesting critique. I agree that it's a double-edged sword. Their strategy banking on recovery could backfire if the panic continues longer than expected. But then again, Cathie Wood's track record shows she's not afraid of a calculated risk.
Yeah, she's known for that boldness, and with the market sentiment overall looking gloomy, jobs data, tariff policies, and even major bank stock declines, it almost seems like ARK is banking on the idea that these are temporary setbacks.
Exactly. It's the classic buy low, sell high mentality, albeit on a huge systemic scale. It's like they're treating these market corrections as opportunities rather
True,
than
that's a
crises.
bold way to see things. I'm also intrigued by the fact that ARK seems to be in lockstep with capitalizing on rapid changes within the crypto sphere, especially given Bitmine's shift toward Ether. It shows they're not just about traditional tech, but also the transformational potential of blockchain.
Absolutely. And it's like combining an equity play with a crypto play, diversifying across both traditional finance and emerging digital assets. Their acquisition of Bitmine shares further underscores a belief in crypto's long-term viability, despite temporary setbacks.
For sure, mixing both realms is very strategic. Looking at it another way, ARK's moves might also influence other institutional players to step in during market dips. It could nudge the overall market sentiment towards a more opportunistic stance in crypto and tech.
Yeah, I think that's one possibility. Their strategies tend to be trendsetters. If other investors view these purchases as a good sign, it might actually help stabilize or even rebound the stock values.
Definitely an interesting ripple effect. So overall, while ARK's aggressive buying strategy during a downturn is risky, it also reflects their confidence in the underlying strength of these companies and the broader market, especially in the tech and crypto sectors. Would you agree?
Yep, I'd say so. It's a gamble that, if it pays off, could be very lucrative in the long run. It's like having a high-risk, high-reward playbook, and ARK Invest is well known for sticking by that philosophy.
Exactly, the high reward side of the equation. And while it stirs up debate about market timing and risk management, it certainly keeps the conversation lively among investors and analysts.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that in times of market stress, some players don't retreat. They double down, seeing opportunity where others see disaster.
Yeah, bold moves indeed. Well, if ARK Invest's gamble pays off, it could set a precedent for how institutional investors push into volatile spaces like crypto and fintech during downturns.
Right, and it's this kind of dynamic strategy that keeps the market interesting. Whether you agree with it or not, it definitely sparks debate and analysis.
It sure does. Thanks for walking through these insights. It's been an engaging discussion on ARK Invest's latest moves and the broader market implications.
Anytime, these topics always get us thinking about the intricate dance between risk and opportunity. Till next time, keep questioning and staying curious.